All right, episode 40 of Say What's Real, guys. Tonight's guest, I'll just let him introduce himself. My beautiful, go ahead, dude.
Yeah, what's up? Here, Sebastian, right here.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Back. I'm actually starting first time in the Wolf Den. Glad to be here. Shit.
Yep, and I pour my fucking boy a shot, dude. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we kind of, so, the human tripod, yeah, because he has 3 legs. It's Kentucky's best, by the way. Is it good?
Yeah, pretty nice shit.
Thank you, Kentucky, whoever you are. Now, can you imagine if the state answered? But we actually needed this tonight because we were supposed to shoot hours ago. Then, had some car troubles and
major
something my
hiccups.
white privilege card couldn't fix right away. So, you know what I mean? We had a fucking, But yeah, I wanted to start off this episode with basically just a question I've always wanted to ask you, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get to the bare bones of it, okay?
Yeah, go on. Go ahead.
Do you hate me, bro? Oh,
Well, I hate's a strong word, but I mean
fuck. Because think about it, right? Think about it. Like, if anybody dated my sister, I'm going head up with them. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
But you haven't done that to me yet. Like, you haven't gone head up with me yet. So, I think you like me, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean ever since we first met, I mean was it at the
fucking 4 years ago? Or
what
something?
party? Which party was it at? Or was it the little
So,
wedding?
I believe it was for your mom's wedding.
Yeah, so yeah, it was at the wedding, and yeah.
Justin, bro, this guy. So I'm sitting there trying to plug in Emily's PS2. Yeah, by the way, I should have fucking PS2. I know, lame. So I'm trying to plug in a PS2, and this guy walks up on me, hella tall, bro. Cause I'm on like the ground trying to plug it in. He walks up like hella tall, like, "So you're the boyfriend, huh?" I was like, I was like, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say I was a boyfriend. That's how fucking tall he was, dude. But yeah, he hasn't beat me up since. So that's how I know this relationship is gonna work. And by the way, I did mention that your mom and your sister are probably going to be watching this.
Yeah,
so I wanted to say hi.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to say something really misogynistic because I know they're going to be listening and watching. So what's the most misogynistic thing you can think of, son? Like off the top. I know you're not really built like that. And they're probably laughing. They're laughing watching this or listening. So that's so. But off the top, listen, like if you're trying to offend a whole group of women, what's the one thing that makes the hens flock, bro? You know what I mean? We can't say kitchen jokes, though. So no kitchen jokes. Because, they're going to be like, oh, you're so original. You know what I mean? I would say, I can't think of any right now that aren't original. Because Emily always makes fun of me like, oh, that's not original. Like, is there really an original misogynistic joke? I can't fucking think of one, dude.
That's a pretty hard one, too.
Like the
feels like it's always, all of them have already been done, shit.
Like the gender, the pay gap.
Yeah, shit, that's done and dusted with, so.
You think do you think it's real, the pay gap, or you think they just I think they only say it to get more money sometimes, you know what I mean? So it kind of seems like.
Oh, shit, who knows? I mean, fuck.
Your boss comes in, okay, so I'm going to pay you more because you have a pussy. So, what's that character? You looked him up, but that character from Aladdin, he's like, oh, no, just gonna, I'm no.
What, the fucking merchant
You
or
know what I'm
what?
talking about? You know when they're in the cave and like Aladdin, like the genie comes out of the lamp? Mm-hmm. And then the genie like transforms into like this buck tooth, like he's like, I'm just gonna do the math and
Oh, the fucking accountant.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Do we have that in the budget, by the way? But yeah, no. But so I do have a question from Emily.
Yeah.
That it was supposed to be for the show special, Mm-hmm. But she wanted to ask who your favorite sister was.
The favorite sister.
Yeah, I mean, how many you have? 2?
Yeah.
You have 2. Yeah. Ooh, that sucks. I mean, I have 2 too, but they're little, so they don't, they're not fucking.
No, I mean, I can't really say a favorite. I'm gonna go with the cliche answer.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Lauren. I thought you were gonna say Lauren, bro. No.
I don't know. I feel like no, they both got their their ups and downs, pros and cons kind of way. Like,
I think Emily only asked that question to start problems. Honestly.
I mean, shit. Emily, shit, always trying to instigate.
Yeah, I mean, she's the best instigator I know, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are gonna start off with some cool stuff tonight, guys. Stuff that me and you would probably kill in like real life conversations. But have you seen Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I have. Well, the first season, then the second season, I believe I might have, but it's been a while. I don't think I've seen the third at all. Or I might have seen bits and pieces of the second.
So you know what episode I'm probably gonna bring up, but you don't watch Rick and Morty, do you? No, Justin's like, I have a life, I have kids.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that shit.
I'm a dad. You know, I'm not a square. There's an episode where so Rick creates a world in a car battery, and then
to get like free, like to get basically like a free reusable source or like for his car. Yeah. I remember that shit.
Yeah. So Justin, in this episode, Rick creates this world in a car battery. Then, like in that world, they think they're like in their own world, but really they're only used to power Rick's world. So when he goes to visit the world he created, in that world, they created their own version of that. And he's like, oh, let me show you what I created. And then they go into another one and it just keeps going. So that the whole episode was like hella trippy because it's like basically the simulation, right?
Yeah, just like was this wild ass shit over and over.
Yeah, and I told Josh because Josh ended up showing me and I was like, oh, bro, like the episode kind of like blew my mind. Like it kind of ruined my perception of reality.
Yeah.
Because now that they said, it kind of seems like we're in a car battery. And we're
because
fucking
in the
beings.
end, because what? Yeah, how the episode end again? Like,
I think Morty was like, "Oh, how do you know that we're not?"
Because wasn't that like a big old trick or something for Rick to expose the secrets, or was that a different episode?
I think it was a different episode.
Oh, shit.
I think the episode ended with them trying to get out of that simulation, right? Because they were stuck there.
Yeah,
I believe so. But the reason I bring up that episode is because I wanted to get your thoughts on the simulation theory.
Yeah.
Well, so bro, I won't say the name of this person, but like, I'm just gonna get down to this.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody before about the simulation theory, and they were talking about how, oh, hey, it's the simulation theory isn't real because it's transphobic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Double take, like, yeah. So basically, by insinuating there's a simulation, right?
Okay.
You're basically like saying that like certain people like that aren't valid because you're saying it's fake. Yeah, it's kind of.
How's it go from because there's a simulation they're not fake though? Like what?
Well, because I guess
fake.
the person was saying like, oh, by saying it's a simulation, you're invalidating me. But anyways, the reason I brought that up is because like that just branches off the simulation theory. That branches off the simulation theory. So there's in that bubble, there's a bunch of branches off it, and like that theory or the conspiracy can go so deep already because you know how people's minds work.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
But like, have you ever done last week, bro? By the way, just last week, and when we started the episode, I was like a boatload of blah blah blah. Remember that?
No.
Bro, we'll have to play a clip, or I'll have to like do a recap of that. Literally, like the beginning of last week's episode, I start off by saying like, "Hey, episode 35," and then I'm like, "Oh, boatload of what?" And then I just start talking about some other shit. I'm like, "Bro,
what is off script or?"
No, I'll just play right here. Look, I'll show you. Bro, this shit is funny, bro.
You gonna play on the big screen right here?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, this shit is fucking funny, dude. Emily was like, "Oh, your player skipped." Oh, yeah. Episode 35, Drewcast, guys. I'm back. Little butt.
Did a butt. What the fuck?
No, I know botch, but then I don't go back into it. Watch. Episode 35, Drewcast, guys. I'm back. Little butt. Shout out to my brother.
That was a simulation glitch right there. If I ever see one shit.
You didn't notice that?
You didn't edit that?
Episode 35, Drewcast, guys. I'm back. Little butt. Shout out to my brother.
Fuck. Fucking your mind, you just felt like you just finished it or what?
What was that?
Shit.
Yeah, because the night before I'm like, hey, doesn't everything go good? Yeah, and then I watch it and it's like, I did a butt. And like, just go into a whole different fucking spiel.
Shit. Zone out for 1 second.
Yeah, because like when I was talking about doing the shrooms, I mean, I've done shrooms with you before, but like we didn't know how much we were doing. So like we didn't, you know.
They were really encounter for me, but yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, if the feds are watching what shrooms, but yeah.
Sure, what? Who?
We when you do stuff like that, like, bro, yeah, like, what? So, if you were to get deep into the simulation theory, right?
Yeah. And what is that exactly again? Like the whole like we're just living in a simulation at this point, or?
There's a way to explain it, and hopefully I'm not miss saying this, but let's say you have a board on the wall with all possibilities, right? You're either the universe that started the simulation or you're the last universe and you haven't caught up to creating the simulation, right? So if you throw a knife at that board, chances are whatever you land on is going to be a simulation. Because there's not really a way to prove that this isn't or is a simulation. So we're either the universe that's going to start it, right?
Yeah.
Because at the moment we haven't created something that's intricate enough to where if you go inside it, they think they're real and they don't think they're fake.
Yeah, we're like getting to like the VR, but not even close to that. So yeah.
So we're either the bottom, we just haven't figured out how to do it yet, or we're the original and just haven't invented it yet.
Shit.
So it's either those two, and everything in between is a simulation, kind of like the Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah. Fuck.
What creeps me out about it is like if that's what we are right now, then would you think life is meaningless? Like if you...
Well, I mean, like, wouldn't it be a simulation for some reason, right? Wouldn't it mean it'd be a purpose for simulating something? So wouldn't that technically
for like
be
studying us?
Yeah, so wouldn't that technically be some weird fucked up way of a purpose of life? But I mean...
That it's like, okay, hey, I think at a certain level it is a simulation, but I don't think it's like computer generated simulation. That's what we are. I don't think we're computer generated.
Oh, yeah.
But it goes into a topic I'm gonna bring up later with you. But it kind of goes. So Cole told us a theory before. You know who Cole is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so he told us a theory that he thinks that when you die, you just restart. It's like a loop.
Oh yeah, like a reincarnation type, or like you restart your own life.
You restart like Sebastian, and you just keep doing that forever.
Damn. But yeah, shit, that would be crazy. Because I have thought about like that, but I always think like you maybe started like someone different, you know? Because you know how like it's like people are like, oh, the time that someone dies, someone else is like born. So it's like, who knows? Maybe you just left that body and went into another. But that's what I was always kind of like think about.
I would be curious to find out why this time period we were, if we're going to keep looping, why was I meant to loop in this time period and not like the 1800s or not like the future?
Maybe you did in the 1800s, you just don't know.
Yeah,
It's like the same people, we just go forward. So there's like there's Justin, but we're like going to be reincarnated into like the next era.
Shit. We just didn't have any memory of our past life.
Yeah, that
could have been like medieval, like fucking cavemen.
we were we were squires.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be like, okay, if we're gonna loop again, cool. But like, it makes sense as to why you wouldn't remember your last life, because that would be pointless if you did, in my opinion. Wouldn't that be? Then that would prove it's a simulation if you keep looping.
Yeah, because then I guess it'd be like, the same thing. Like it'd be the same morning, the same thing. But I guess at that point you could just decide whether or not you wanted to do things differently that day.
Let's say you die, bro, and like they all of a sudden like your goggles come off and some aliens like, hey, how was it?
Fuck.
What would you say, bro?
That's wrong again. Shit, that was cool. Fuck. Shit.
Yeah, because you probably have money as an alien if you're able to do like. What if this was like a drug? The life you're living now was like some drug you took as an alien and it lets you live.
Fuck, hey, man. It's been about 30 minutes. You gotta go.
You gotta go, dude. Hey, so your credit card ran out. We're gonna have to have you go. Shit. It reminds me of like DMT. People who say they've done DMT say that they've lived like years or months of someone else's life.
Really? Fuck.
And then when they come out of their DMT trip, like they're back in their normal body.
How long does that usually last? Like, not too long? Or?
So when you do DMT, it can... so a lot of people smoke it, or I've heard some people eat it. I don't know how true that is, but shit. I think the high, it's not really. So what happens is like when they take 3 puffs, they instantly blast off.
Fuck,
it's like an instant, right?
Yeah.
And this one guy was saying how when he did that, he was born in the 80s, lived for like 20 something years.
What the
right?
fuck?
And then all of a sudden he had like a wife and kids. He had like his own career.
So like he started off like as a baby and then like gradually grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, and then grew up, whatever, had kids, and then all of a sudden one day he gets out of the DMT trip. And he was like, "Oh, like I literally just lived
Fuck.
But the
Does he
DMT
miss
trip,
his family? Or?
I don't. Yeah, he said that was one of the hardest things he had to deal with.
Fuck.
Was the fact that like he had gained a relationship with that family, like had met a girl that he liked there, had kids.
Do you think that could be like a possibility for like the strange disappearances back then? If we are in a simulation,
Yeah,
also,
that could.
oh, what happened? What happened to John? Where'd he go? He just left and
Well, no, during the DMT trip, you're sitting there.
yeah.
That 10 or 15 minutes later, you wake out of it. But in that 10 and 15-minute window, he experienced almost 30 years of life somewhere
Yeah.
else. So that could be what this is. But like again, there's no way to prove it,
Yeah, shit.
which is creepy as fuck, dude. And if Cole's theory is right that you loop, I'm promising you, next time we loop, I'm about to be a bad boy, dude. I'm about to go out like a cowboy, dog.
No. Well, but what happens if like the whole apocalyptic nuclear shit happens? We just end up blowing ourselves up and like there's nothing left
On Earth?
Yeah, where are we gonna loop to? Like the nearest like creatures or like
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I never thought of that, actually.
yeah. So I just thought like shit.
Like, who knows if you reincarnate here on Earth? You could reincarnate somewhere else.
And that's what I was also thinking about when you were mentioning the simulation theories. Like, who said like why does it have to be like we're the one who made the simulation? What if it, like you said, like some alien off like some planet somewhere else was the one who made it?
I think a lot of life that probably does exist, like Earth for sure. I believe, in my heart, I believe Earth is a test planet. I think someone came here, they mixed their DNA with like the hominids. Oh, I think I'm saying it right, like monkeys. And then they just said, "Hey, let's just see where it goes from here." They come back, like let's say 1,000 years later, like wow, they killed Jesus. Wow, come back another 1,000 years, like wow, they have cell phones.
No shit.
Wow, they're still racist.
Almost like what that South Park episode, they could just view it with our world, seeing like what the fuck we've been doing, shenanigans. Shit almost feels like it at that point.
That's what I think. Yeah, it feels like we're being watched, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we're any moment where they're probably like, "Ah, fuck, just fucking push the cancel button, dude. Just fucking push it, dude."
We would just still get bought out for that last season.
What'd you say?
We still get bought out for that last season, though.
It's like the last season of Earth. But what if this is the series finale, dude, of Earth?
That's why it's been going all apocalyptic and crazy and the COVID and shit.
Trump tried to warn us, bro. And I'm playing. Can you imagine? Trump tried to warn us, dog. We have Sleepy Joe, bro. Okay, so from what you just mentioned, have you been noticing that like the whole UFO phenomenon that's been happening? Like that they're kind of admitting that they're real.
Here and there, not to be honest, not really.
Yeah.
Like I guess I haven't like looked it up, but I'm have like heard some of your podcasts talking about it, and like you said, like I remember the one that got me interested with. They said they got to like release the files and shit, or like they had to like
happens at the end of
release
this month. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I was like really interested in, but I guess I didn't really like fully like look into it. But
That report hasn't came out yet, by the way, but an insider who claims that he's seen it, right?
yeah,
He was on Twitter talking about it. One of the blue check people. He was basically saying that like what they're gonna say is hey, they're real. We don't know if they're not us. We don't know if they're China or Russia, but we're not gonna say they're aliens, but we can't say they're not aliens. So basically, they're saying, which contradicts the report, right? I said
After the actual.
the UFOs that've been reported.
Oh, so like they actually have been like legit UFOs,
Yeah. So they're
or they are or not, or what they supposedly they're
basically
saying.
early reports are saying that they're gonna be like, hey, we can't rule out aliens, but they're not us, and they're not China, Russia, or any other power in this world. Which contradicts that report I showed you. Just remember when the Pentagon came out and said they found off-world craft and exotic material from off-world.
Exotic material.
Yeah, they said they found exotic material from a ship before. So they're gonna pretend like they didn't release those articles? Like that's crazy, bro, right?
Yeah, so maybe they're just trying to cover their ass at this point.
They're just like, oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
What are your opinions on that? Like, how big do you think that is if they come on to say, yeah, they're not from here, we just don't know what they are?
I know a lot of people will definitely be happy. They're like, yeah, aliens are real. We told y'all. We ain't
told
fucking
you
crazy.
that.
But yeah, no, I think that would definitely be big. I mean, and like,
Does
I
that change
always-
anything for you?
I don't know. I always felt like aliens were real in a sense, or like there has to. I just always felt like we. How could we be the only people that evolved to this point, or like on this planet, like
at this moment. And
yeah, and how especially the way like evolution is, and how animals have adapted, and just over the years have been able to fucking just adapt and evolve. It's like how. Yeah, I just think like how are we
to
the
think
only
that we were the
ones?
only ones, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't realize, you guys, is that obviously we live in the Milky Way galaxy, okay? But I thought, for some reason, my dumbass thought that like the sun and all the planets that encompassed it, that was like the Milky Way galaxy, and everything outside of that was something different. Bro, I didn't realize that we're like only a small part of the Milky Way galaxy.
Or like a barely even a fucking speck or like
Yeah, so there's like other solar systems and like other planets surrounding us.
yeah,
I
that's
thought
a
the Milky Way galaxy was everything from the sun to like Pluto.
No, that's just our solar system.
yeah. So yeah, the Milky Way is like a whole bunch of those stars and like
Yeah.
everything. Like
Yeah,
that's
so
what
it's
I
like,
thought.
you know, like in the spiral
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
draw.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
we're
all those
like
are
in the
all those
corner,
little
and then like there's other stuff surrounding us, and then and that's just this galaxy.
And then if you zoom or like I saw those videos, yeah, they zoom out. There's even like more. And it's like that's I'm like, man, I highly doubt we're like the only ones. I feel like if anything, we just haven't got up to that technology to like explore everything. Like explore a whole space and without it taking millions of years.
Well, the circumstances that we're in, right? So I was just showing Emily this the other day. Jupiter is like a big reason why comets and asteroids don't hit us.
Bro, it says in the Milky Way galaxy alone, there's 500 solar systems.
Fucking
we're just
shit,
one.
dude.
We're just one solar system.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just in our galaxy alone. So literally, we could be so like, okay, you know what the North Antilles Island is, right? Do you know what that is?
No, I don't know.
So it's an island, and it's in the Indian Ocean, I believe, and they've never been contacted before. Really, it's an uncontacted tribe.
Well, so they've never been like
So-
they haven't like known any other humans but themselves.
They don't know that an outside world exists.
From that island. They don't know
Shit.
about technology. They don't know about plane. And literally, they live on this planet. They're surrounded by some of the greatest things that have ever been invented on this earth, and they have no clue that that's happening right now.
Shit.
They don't know about COVID. They don't know about any of that. They don't know about cell phones, nothing. So in a sense, I believe Earth is like that, but to the galaxy. Or even our own solar system. I guarantee you there's like stuff surrounding us that they watch us, and we're just like that island. We just don't
could
know
be.
what's happening.
Yeah, it could be. And it's almost like oh hey, pass by Earth. Oh fuck that.
Yeah,
fuck, fuck that place. Shit. You seen what the fuck they've been doing? Fuck.
He's like, hey, you hear they voted Trump in? He's like, he didn't work too well on our planet. Doesn't. You know, the politicians. But yeah, okay. So it kind of begs the question, like, okay, I was mentioning to Emily that Jupiter stops a lot of comets and asteroids from hitting Earth.
Because isn't what like Jupiter like hella like
It's a gas
like-
giant.
yeah. Just like what does almost like fucks with them or what is that what it is or
Yeah, so Jupiter makes it to where like all the asteroids and comets that are coming towards us get like taken into its orbit. So not only that, we're the perfect distance from the sun, to have life. We're the perfect. Like, everything just seems too convenient, almost like aliens were like searching for a planet. Like, okay, this is perfect. That we can have life here. Let's put life on this planet. They came down, did all that. Okay, and we're gonna come back every so whatever and watch these guys. And I think it was basically like how you would play Sims on a video game,
yeah.
but on a grander scale. You're not playing on a video game. Like, you're literally like, hey, we're gonna like almost like I've said this in a video before, like a alien high school experiment for science.
Shit.
Okay,
what
go
is-
out there and fly and find a planet. The teacher.
And they just drop a bunch of humans like there you go, boom. Let's see what happens kind of thing.
He's like, yeah, hey, go meet with that monkey. It's like, I don't wanna. He's like, I said do it.
And shit, you kind of if you think about it, maybe it would make sense because well like every like animal like or just about like a lot of the animals like kind of like almost give back to the earth in a sense, but it's like what the
We
fuck
don't.
what do? We have been like fucking slowly killing this fucking planet for like how many years?
Oh, probably
fucking
thousands.
global warming, the fucking getting the fossil fuel and all that shit. And
We
like,
probably do make because global warming's existed before we were here, but like we do make the process go by way faster
Oh,
with
yeah.
all the stuff that we do to, huh?
I thought global warming was due to like us burning the ozone layer. How did that exist?
Well, because if I'm not mistaken, like the climate's always been changing. Like it's always like, you know, like we went through the ice age, we
Yeah.
came out of the ice age. Like maybe I'm saying this wrong, but like we've made it like worse. Like by those stuff that we do, it makes
Yeah.
it go by faster and it makes it become worse than it would naturally.
Yeah, especially if you like look at the view from what if you're in fucking California, you see all that smog and shit versus like somewhere up here, it's like
Yeah.
fucking clear. You can like hella see that difference.
And you got people saying like, I guess like in the last 10,000 years, we've made the overall temperature of the planet go up 1 degree. When before
Yeah.
that, it would take hella long for it to just go up 1 degree. So,
Shit.
I mean, I know like, but yeah, that's basically like, maybe they're just trying to see how like, would you interfere? Like if you guys were the aliens that put people here, would you like interfere? Like, or would you just like want to see like, hey, fuck it, like we're not interfering. Like it is kind of like God and free will, basically. Like, hey, let's just see what they do.
I mean, shit. If I was an alien, I mean, if me myself as an alien, yeah, I'd probably be like, fuck that. I mean, let's see what the fuck happens to me if it literally has nothing to do with me. Shit, I'm trying to see some entertainment. Shit.
Trying to see some space boobies, you know? Yeah, I'd be okay. So, because Anthony, have you ever met my coworker Anthony, the older gentleman? Like, have you? Did
The
you?
older guy?
Yeah,
Did he work there when you worked there?
Yeah. I remember him. Yeah.
yeah. So you remember him? So he was basically saying like, if you think about it in the sense of like, when you think of an alien, okay, you're probably thinking of what you see in movies and cartoons, like they're kind of humanoid or like they're small and gray.
Yeah, the green alien men and the
I'm kind of under the impression that like they probably don't even look that we don't even know, how do we know they have a face?
show.
We don't know if
Be
they
like
have
some
eyes
like
or
Men in Black type shit, you know? They're like aliens, old type. I mean, like how humans are, you know? They're like
yeah, they could
different,
even
like yeah. I mean,
they
shit.
could even exist on a different dimension and still not. You know, I don't know. It's weird to like even. Does that kind of stuff creep you guys out?
Thinking about the dimension or like different universe or
Just
like multiverse.
all the stuff we've
or-
talked about. Does that creep you guys out at all? Like,
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't know about. I mean, I guess talking about it at the moment, no, but I guess experiencing, yeah, like it would definitely be like pretty creepy because it's like, fuck, we're not the only ones out there. Like,
we're freaked
shit,
out.
like, yeah, it'd definitely be something like crazy.
I
So,
feel like that's a conversation that everybody should be having, but we're not. Like, if you guys think about it, our day-to-day lives is basically us just trying to like mask what's really happening. You guys ever realized that? Like, what we do in our day-to-day is basically us trying to pretend things aren't really what they are to like for like a little minute of happiness, right?
yeah, like shit, me gaming out and
Yeah.
fucking watching the show or doing all. Yeah, I mean, shit.
And then when you, okay, like I don't know if this has ever happened to you, Sebastian, but like when you, there's been times when like I'll hit the weed pen or something like that, bro,
Yeah.
and like your consciousness really like just hits you right there. You're like, what are we? What are we
the fuck
doing
am I
here?
doing? When am I hitting this device that this person, this other human created? And like,
Yeah, like has that ever happened to you? Like you're just sitting there like, bro, what the fuck is this?
definitely. Oh yeah, hell, many fucking times. And like even like what, even like with this random ass thought, I know like I have it sometimes, but it's like if you think about diamonds, rubies, those fucking gems, if you like really think about it, it's just like one human is like, this looks fucking cool. And then other people are like, yeah, fuck yeah, put value on it. Versus like some other fucking rock that, you know, like it's some other like sandstone or who the fuck knows.
That's true, bro. Like literally
mean-
what he's talking about is true. Like you think about it. You got to decide that this thing had value?
Yeah.
What? Who gave you the
Cash
power to
money,
do
the
that?
the paper itself controls really we work day to day. We're like, yeah. Versus back then, like where they're trading like beads or like just straight up
Bartering.
trading. Hey, give me your cow for that chick type shit.
Or like, hey, you know how to build a house? Can you help me do my roof and I'll help you with your farm? Like, you know, like
Yeah.
Because I was telling Justin this the other day. We used to live with accordance to the Earth, right? We used to live off the Earth, and I feel like they took that away from us, and like charged you for it now. So instead of having free energy, they make you pay for something that is destructive towards the Earth.
Yeah, then I was also seeing with the electric cars, like the tax you got to pay for the DMV shit is fucking crazy.
What is
Because
it?
it's like, well, I don't know the exact price, but it's like, it's a quite a bit difference between doing the gas, gas powered vehicles, because they say since you're not giving tax for paying for gas, then this was like
A way to make up for it.
yeah, basically. But it's like fuck. But it's like, so we're getting penalized for trying to not for using reusable sources. Like what the fuck?
That's
Like
stupid. I didn't know that.
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, there was always rumors that like Tesla had the secrets to free energy, and that they were like, nah, we'll lose too much money off that.
Or what didn't you I think didn't you mention that something in like a podcast before? Like what like Trump's
Trump's uncle.
yeah, had like some sort of like right or some hold on like Tesla's
He went into his vault after he died, and like basically they don't know what exactly he took.
yeah, fuck.
There was always rumors that he had like the death ray blueprints in there basically to bring people back from the dead. He had the blueprints to like free energy in there, and like this other stuff he was working on, and of course like obviously the government's is gonna want to get their hands on that.
Oh, fuck yeah, they probably were the first ones, if anything.
Speaking of crazy technology, if you want to look up on the screen right there, it says, so this one's very interesting actually. So it says scientists plan to use AI to figure out what the fuck sperm whales are talking about.
Okay, shit.
So like, and if you go through the comments, basically, if this works, they're gonna be able to know what whales are talking about, and like you'll be able to like hear them talk about tales from like that were passed on from their ancestors. Like, oh, like when humans first started hunting them. Like, what if the whales start talking about things that live deep in the ocean? Like, oh, don't go down there. That's where the kraken live. You know, they wouldn't call it the kraken. But this alone, we start on sperm whales, right? Mm-hmm. But think about dogs, cats. Think about all the animals this AI can do that for.
Yeah, that would, especially like especially what you're saying, that comment right there, the stories and folklores, like,
yeah,
that would be very interesting if they had some sort of like they had their own like cave wall paintings in their own like environment, but like
in their own like society.
Yeah, like I mean, shit, who knows where the fuck the whales go? We don't track them, so shit, who knows? We got off doing their own thing, or fuck.
They're like, humans are back.
Yeah.
No, but because like when ships first were invented, like whales would probably have tales of that, like, oh, humans started hunting us, so we went further to like that.
I thought they were like fucking. Probably almost thought they were. I mean, yeah, because if you think about it, if you're like a whale, I mean, you're not really gonna think about it like if you're a human, because it probably you just see this big ass thing, like, oh, is it just another fucking whale? And all of a sudden you just get a fucking spear in your head, like, oh, there goes.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Fuck. Okay, those are bad. Stay away from that.
I don't know if like if this sounds like a Black Mirror episode to you, but what about like if they did it to dogs and cats? Let's see what your cat's saying.
Fuck yeah, dude. There's been many times where it's like, it's like that one joke is like, please just tell me, just speak if you can. Come on, I'm not gonna tell anyone. Just let me know what the fuck you're saying. Just anything.
I don't know. Kobe would snitch on me. My dog. If they took him in a room and had like, hey, so what has Andrew been up to? He talks off all the time. Kobe was starting.
Finally, someone I can talk to. Yeah, fuckers are crazy. How I survived.
It's like, hey, I'm gonna need a lawyer for this because you guys are gonna want to record this.
How long you guys have?
But like, yeah, this alone is super crazy because if they're able to do this, like, I don't know, like, bro, what? Okay, so remember when I was telling you, like, oh, if you ever get super high and just think to yourself, like, oh, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Imagine being someone in a room and you're decoding what a sperm whale's saying, and then, like, you're able to, like, actually decode it. I'd be like, what?
At one point, yeah, there's also in the words start flowing. Like, oh, it's cold. It's the.
The sperm whale said there's extra sperm whales for you.
I gotta go to the hunting grounds.
The hunting grounds. The whales would probably snitch on us too, but we've been doing whales greasy, dude. They're like just SeaWorld alone.
Oh fuck yeah!
They're probably like, yeah, we got you guys. You guys want to decode what we're saying? What if they're like free my boy Free Willy? Like they were like just banging on.
Yeah, what if he became like almost like a legend to them? They're like, fuck, he never returned. They're just was in prison.
He was in prison fucking by the Jumans. By the Jumans, man. They're like Scarface whales. Hey, for a green card, I'll cut up a human real nice. The guy decoding gets like, oh god damn.
Shit.
But yeah, the next one, Sebastian, I wanted to bring up to you. I got it on the screen right here. This is from Conspiracy Theory Man. Wow, thank you, Conspiracy Theory Man. That's actually me, by the way. And it says in 1947, and I looked this up. He's a real person.
Okay.
In 1947, explorer Richard Byrd was ordered by the U.S. government to remain silent about what he witnessed during his Arctic assignment. He claims in a diary, well, he had a diary in the 40s. Pause. If you're a guy, pause. But he claims in a diary that he met an ancient underground race at the South Pole. Years later, in fear of others finding inhabitants, 12 countries signed the Arctic Treaty to protect that region.
It sounds like a plot of Transformers.
A lot of people said that was the plot of the thing, too. I didn't know Transformers either.
In Transformers, Shia LaBeouf's grandpa finds Megatron in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, is that when they had the glasses like Sham Witwicky? Okay, bro.
Oh, fuck that.
So imagine you're him and you see that. What do you?
What the ancient race?
Yeah, you're there, you're exploring, and all of a sudden, like an alien's like, hey, like I don't know if they would say that. They're like, like.
Yeah, but what if he could have like just mistaken them for like just some natives
Mexicans
or something?
Oh, sorry.
Shit.
Sorry.
Yo, Judd.
Good. I'm half Mexican, so it's okay.
No, but no, but like shit, it was probably just think that they were just living off the ground, and then maybe like that's when the government was like, yeah, last show you seen that page right there. Let me take that.
Well,
Don't worry about that page in that journal, that diary.
Don't worry about that. But yeah, let's just scratch that diary at all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's kind of wimpy to have a diary, by the way. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah,
What
you don't
the
need
fuck
that.
you doing with this?
Only girls have diaries, bro. You know. Yeah, but I would just say to myself, I've never heard of like more than a couple countries ever getting together to do something. Isn't that kind of like what the UN symbol is like in our, I've never heard of like all those countries ever doing that for anything. So it was kind of like, it kind of makes sense. Like if they found something there, everybody was like, hey, we got to protect this, which a lot of people think that's the hollow earth theory.
The hollow earth theory.
12 countries isn't really a lot. I mean, that is a lot in that context, but
For that time period, probably, yeah, right? There's probably way more now that signed the treaty. You ever heard of hollow earth?
Oh, what's that?
Have you seen Godzilla vs. King Kong?
Shit, I was going to, but because I knew it was on HBO Max, that shit was, but
Yeah,
Never got to
ask
it.
Justin Hill. He uses
which is like the worth it. Is it just like what the Earth is getting?
Shut up,
like,
mom. By the way, what were you saying? Sorry.
well, like the Earth is getting like more and more like hollow as time goes on, or like what the fuck? Or
Hopefully I'm saying this right, but it's the North Pole, or the South Pole in the movie. Where does he go in the movie? I forgot. I think it's the North Pole, right? I wish Josh was here. He would probably he's my King Kong enthusiast. I mean, he loves Godzilla, but I don't know, for some reason he has something against King Kong. But in the movie, let's just say it's the North Pole, because at the moment I don't remember which one.
No.
But they take him there because there's an entrance there.
They're taking Kong over there?
Yeah, and when he goes through this entrance, he starts like going through this like tunnel. He's traveling, and then he just, at a certain point, he reaches this part where like it zips him forward hella far. And he goes into like this place that's like Earth underground.
What the fuck? What, like, is it just like
it's
like a jungle or?
Yeah, it's like a world under Earth.
Oh,
So there
what
is
the fuck?
jungles there and stuff, but there's way more there, and like
Oh, so it's like a completely like separate Earth almost. It's almost like a layer of like Earth or something.
yeah, and a lot of people were like, oh, they kind of touched on the hollow Earth theory, because a lot of people now believe hollow Earth is real, that they lie to you about like what's actually under the ground. Because a lot of it stems from, and I don't even know what this hole is called, but in Russia, I think the deepest hole on Earth is in Russia. And there's a lot of rumors that when scientists were going down there, like they went like I think so far down, and someone claims they saw creatures down there.
What the fuck?
And so people were like, "Oh, what if aliens aren't really from outer space? What if they're from underwater and under the earth, and they just hide there, hollow earth?"
No, I mean,
That would explain this, though. This guy probably came across something, and when they were like,
yeah, shit. I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. Just hearing about that right now just fucking blew my mind. The whole fucking like hole, like the deepest hole, like, because I thought I did hear something about
"Well,
that.
you
Like,
looked it up, Justin. It's in Russia. It's a hole in Russia."
yeah, it's like
And
almost like what they say. It's like the endless hole or something.
yeah,
or
and
like,
I don't
it's
think
like
they found the end of it actually yet. So when he looks it up, we'll find out. But like, I don't think there's an end to it that they know of.
It says the deepest hole by far is one on the Kola Peninsula in Russia near Murmansk, referred to as the Kola Well. It was drilled for research purposes in 1970, and it has reached about 23,000 feet.
What the fuck?
Is there an end, or that's just how they've? That's just the furthest they've gone.
That's just surface level information I saw on Google.
Imagine 20,000. Yeah, that's fucking insane, dude. I mean, I think
Shit.
they stopped drilling because at a certain point the equipment started melting.
Yeah, so what the fuck were they even drilling there for?
It says
Just for
right here-
research, but what were they researching?
Yeah, you're right. What were they? I don't get what were they thinking? Like, oh,
And
hey,
for I know, like for what fuck good? Hey, keep drilling. Like,
Okay, so I guess they got to 23,000 feet in 1970, and then they continued in 1989, and they got to about 40,000 feet or 8 miles deep, and they stopped because the drill became stuck in a rock.
so they got 40,000 feet so far.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
it says
lot.
That was the current record for a depth reached by humans.
shit.
I've read a creepypasta about that one time, and I didn't at first when I was reading it for some reason I didn't know it was a creepypasta, right?
You
And
thought
then
it was legit or at first? Or
yeah,
like,
because like it was talking about that hole in Russia.
oh yeah.
And he says in the creepypasta, he's like, as we went further down the hole, further down, it started to get really hot. He said all of a sudden something started attacking us. And my partner was shooting back at it. All this stuff happens. And he says when he wakes up, he's at the surface again, but he's in a different earth. Like when he wakes up, these people are like, hey, you're not a doctor. You don't do research. What are you talking about? Like, oh, you're not this and this. Like, you don't have a wife and kids.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, someone help me get back to my," And then I was like, then I realized it was a creepypasta, obviously. But then I'm like, "Damn, dude!" Like,
That sounds like an intense ass story.
yeah, it sounds like an intense shroom trip.
Yeah, fuck.
What it fucking sounds like, dude. So that's why you don't do shrooms, kids, unless you're with me.
Yeah.
And I got a whole bunch of them. I got loads, like I said in the other video. Okay, I got another one for you, Sebastian. This one's pretty. I would say it kind of reminds me of what Cole said earlier. What if this is happening right now? So, after you die, it is believed that you have 7 minutes of brain activity left inside you. And in the 7 minutes, you experience your life over in a kind of dream, because in a dream, time is stretched. So, if this is the case, what if right now you're in that 7 minutes? Doesn't that kind of remind you of the loop theory that Cole had?
Man, in a sense, yeah. And then, shit. So, like, well, I guess once you get to the end of it, what, it just goes blank or,
It just keeps repeating.
yeah, shit, that'd be crazy. But I mean, how would I feel if I was in that? I mean, shit. Like, I don't even know how the fuck I would even begin to answer that.
Yeah,
like,
how would you? Yeah,
like, what the fuck? I mean, I guess it's like, hey, like, glad I'm remembering some bits and pieces of it. I mean, enjoying what little brain activity I have left.
There's
If I
a
kick the
there's a
bucket.
couple things that bug me about this. One, besides the fact that there's no way to prove that outside of my head right now, you two are even real. Like, there's no way to prove that. And for you, it's the same. That there's no way for you to prove I'm real outside of your consciousness.
I mean, was like, what that?
Like right now, I hear noise coming out of the living room, right?
Yeah.
But unless I'm in that living room, there's no way to prove that that's real. Unless I'm standing in that living room right now, there's no way that doesn't exist unless you open that door.
So what if you open the door, but then like some of the other area in the room is like missing? Is that technically like, has that been like built, or is like the only thing that you see is like,
I think that theory it kind of has some holes in it, but like it kind of is true to a sense. Like you can't prove that. So I can't prove any, like even this thing we're looking at. I can't prove that. But what also bugs me about that too is that like you gain, like for me instance, let's say this is the only life I get and I move on, or I loop into someone else's, I reincarnate into someone different. The only thing that would suck is that like I gained the relationship with hella people here. You create these feelings for people, you gain love for people, all this stuff, and what, you just lose that?
Yeah.
You just lose all of that. So I lose knowing Justin, I lose the relationship I built with Justin, I lose knowing people. You just go on to a next life and you don't ever get to revisit that one. That, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of bugs me.
Oh fuck. Like, what if you go like, and like you say, if it is a death loop, like, what if like some fucked up way, like you go and get reincarnated, and then you somehow end up like interacting with the people you were like fucking with before, but you just don't even know it, or
Yeah,
like you
just,
pass it by in like
my
a
next life,
grocery
I'm
store,
you,
like,
bro.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would suck,
You
dude.
bump into them. Oh shit, my bad. You know, like.
It's like, my name's Sebastian, bro. Like I'll look at you like, wow, dude. Of course you are. What would you do if right now someone walked up and said, "Hey, Sebastian, in my past life, I was your best friend"? Like, would you believe it? If they were like hella adamant, like they knew hella shit about you.
Yeah, I don't know. If they knew a lot of stuff, I mean, shit. Like, you got picture? I mean, shit, you got more than me. But I mean, like, shit, that's pretty convincing.
It's
Or
like,
unless you're like some fucking hacker that just got my shit, or just hell investigating me. I mean, that's what I'd be thinking.
yeah, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, you gotta prove it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta prove it." Because when we talk about losing relationships and shit, it does bug me, bro. Because like, even if you were okay, so when Cole said the whole loop theory, I was like, okay, what if you loop until you do what you were meant to do in this life, and then you're able to ascend to a different level or a different life, right?
Yeah.
So I personally believe everybody's put here for a specific reason that they're supposed to fulfill or they're supposed to learn while they're here. And if you don't learn that, you keep repeating it. Okay. And do you know what the butterfly effect is? You've ever heard of that?
Yeah, like if you go back in the past and like if you move a rock or accidentally squish a bug, then it could possibly like,
Change everything.
yeah, in the future.
Yeah. So my craziest butterfly effect theory is that, so there was a moment in high school, and he's probably fucking sick of hearing this story, but I don't think I've ever told you so. And the camera's never heard it, so that's an important thing. But in high school, I had a friend named McCarty, and we in our apartments we would go to the pool and stuff, you know, and there was these girls there, obviously, you know, like, hey, but they left, they left. So I go home, I get a knock at the door. McCarty's like, hey, the girls came back home with me, bro, and I had like a sandwich in my hand, and I was like I kind of don't want to go back, you know. But then there was girls. I was like, fuck, what do I do? I'm hungry, but like I want bitches too.
Yeah, it was shit hard choice.
Yeah, so then I put the sandwich down. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. That moment of me going back ended up with me meeting Tanisa and like, you know, all the girls that are involved in this family now.
Oh,
Yeah, so like it made it to where, you know, Josh ends up with Tanisa, Justin ends up with Kylie,
And
Justin and
they
Kylie
be,
have kids, Josh and Tanisa have kids. All this stuff is interweaving because I made that fucking decision to go back to the pool. And
yeah, that is always like trippy to think about. Like, yeah, if you would have just been like, no, and then
yeah, like it literally
Fuck,
led to
it
like the
would've-
birth of my niece and nephews. And like it literally led to like these guys having relationships with people that they love. And I was thinking to myself like, oh, what if like my purpose for looping was to is like, hey Andrew, do you have enough? Are you willing to sacrifice everything to move on to the next level? Like for instance, in my next loop, I don't go back to the pool,
yeah.
which would cause certain people not to be born. But what if it ended up balancing everything, and I'm able to move on to my next cycle? And maybe that's why I've kept looping, because I'm not willing to like not let certain people be born. That isn't that creepy, bro? What if it's like, hey, you'll continue to loop until you don't make that decision, and once you don't make that decision, things start to like balance out. Like for instance, when I told Emily that theory, she was like, "Oh, what if you did that and like they never met so and so, and then Justin ends up spending more time in his music and actually becomes hella famous, or like this
yeah.
happens to Josh because of this, and like like that literally, that's crazy how like one decision can literally change the lives of like hella people.
Yeah, you're like, no, I want to eat that sandwich, and then all of a sudden you all become almost like the Beastie Boys, and then,
Maybe
your
like
own way.
we could be the
Shit.
Beastie Boys now, but like it's just creepy to think about.
Yeah.
Cause like like when you meet, you probably feel the way about Ezra. Like when you see him, like, oh fuck, I fucking hella love you. Like you're part of our family, and like
Yeah.
I'll do anything for you. So
That's
like,
the homie right there.
just he is.
Shout out Ezra.
Yeah, when you watch this when you're older, no, we cuss a lot, but
Yeah, if you do minutes there.
but if you simply, if someone was like, hey Sebastian, you have to go back in time and make it to where that doesn't happen. I'm not comfortable with that. Like I don't know if I could go back in time and redo that decision, knowing that those people wouldn't be born. And maybe that's the whole point of like your journey, is to do things that like, hey, I don't know. It's just that whole shit. The 7-minute cycle. That shit's creepy as fuck, dude.
Yeah, definitely shit. I'm thinking about all that. Like, I don't know. I guess it's still like a lot of like mind blowing shit. Like you're saying, like how the fuck did you like just sit there and decide on that? Like, oh yeah, if I don't do this, then they're not gonna do that, but it's for the greater good type shit. Like,
Are you willing to sacrifice something for the greater good? That's kind of like the question,
no shit.
Are you willing to do that? That's creepy, dude.
I don't know. I might have to do a couple loops before I figure that out.
And then I've wanted to send a message to myself in my next loop, but like obviously that seems impossible.
No.
So that's probably why you experience deja vu, because you're like, oh, I've done this before, but why?
Yeah, almost like yeah. That's almost like I think about too. Like, it almost feels like when you're saying about the deja vu, it almost feels like sometimes like I've been getting it lately, and it's like, does that actually happen? Or like, is this like happened before and like dream or that I had before? Or,
And that you just don't know it.
yeah, I don't know. It just seems like that fucking familiar. Like, I don't know. It's just like that one. I don't know. It's just like really hard to explain.
No, I mean, has that ever hit you hella bad? It's like deja vu super bad now?
No. I've had deja vu, obviously, but not
To the point where it's
where
like,
it just, throws me for a fucking...
Makes you think like, fuck, like, yeah, this felt like it really happened. Shit.
Yeah, there was this one time where we were all, me, Emily, and Josh. I tried psychedelics with Josh for the first time, and
Oh yeah, shit.
yeah, it was.
Wait,
We played Madden in the spirit realm, and I'll tell you about that in a second. What time are we actually?
With the Yu-Gi-Oh spirit.
Huh?
54.
All right, cool. I got a couple minutes. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Emily told you about this story before, but so Josh is at the back porch. He's talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Emily's right in front of me. Zach is behind Emily. Okay, so Josh is talking to me, but I can't hear what he's saying. Emily's sitting there like dead ass staring at me, and then Zach's behind her, kind of like
Shaking.
like it was like this weird, like I don't know how to explain it, but it was like it was almost like he wasn't in his body type shit,
Yeah.
And Emily was like, "Oh, how do you know I'm not the creator of the simulation?" And I'm just like, "Simulation, the simulation." She's like, "How do you know I'm not the creator of the simulation, and I'm just controlling what you're doing right now?" And as she's doing that, like Josh is in there like talking, but I can't hear what he's saying, and like it felt like time stopped, bro.
And I was just like, you and her in that moment, just like.
Yeah, and ever since then, I haven't been able to look at her the same, because I'm like, bro, like I don't know, there's no way to prove it. How do you prove she's not the creator of the simulation? Like, how do you prove that, bro? You can't.
You really can.
And then the Madden thing I was telling you about. So we play Madden on the big screen out there, and when you do the Pro Bowl, the field has like symbols, letters, and numbers on it, but they're like glowing.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't know that. So when we're playing, like the whole field is lit up with like these glowing symbols and like all these colorful like jerseys and
Oh shit.
and like I was telling Josh, I'm like, oh, it's almost like we're playing Madden in the spirit realm. And it felt like that, bro. Like the game was hella intense, and like it was like a hella high scoring game, and like it was actually hella
It was
cool.
like you're going back and forth type shit, like intense ass.
Again, intense match, yeah.
Hell yeah. It was
But I was hella scared out of my mind, dude. Yeah, that is it for tonight. Thank you for coming on, bro.
shit. It felt like it just
Sorry
started.
that I had you wait hella long for the car, but obviously,
it's all
like,
good.
shit happens,
man.
dude. I would love for you to come back. You obviously are welcome back anytime.
Shit, it was fun. Shit.
Maybe
sounded
next
good.
time you could I can like kind of brainstorm with you about what topics you wanna. Maybe we could do the Dame game next time.
The
Like,
name.
Yeah, so it'd be like, hey, if you had to marry like Mrs. Incredible, Francine from always Mrs. Incredible, obviously.
God.
She has cake, dude. Pause, but like if Emily's watching, what cake? But nah, she likes Mrs. Incredible too. But yeah, so next week I believe next week I'm gonna have Warren back on for like the first time in how long because
nice.
next week
Hell
is the 2-year anniversary of this channel.
Oh yeah, there you go. Hell yeah, man. You're gonna be
Yeah,
special.
so I gotta get the one of the co-creator back on.
Hell yeah.
Troll him a little bit, make fun of Trump and shit with him. I'm gonna try to troll him hella hard. I just can't figure out how I'm gonna do it. So
I'm sure we found a way. Shit.
like I literally being Donald Trump here, like literally Donald Trump's in this room, like hey, Warren, like I don't know. I told
Heard you're a
Warren,
big fan.
Warren be like, oh, nice to meet you, Mr. President. Like after all the shit he talked, like, wow, so good to meet you, Mr. President. But yeah, do you have anybody you want to shout out before we?
I mean, obviously, family, sisters, Lauren, Emily, mom, parents, everyone. My girlfriend Kai, I love you, and other than that,
Yeah, your family's hella funny, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're like probably the funniest out of all of them, but actually, I don't know. I think Emily. Well, I think that the problem with Lauren is that she doesn't know she's funny. Like she's one of those people that just does hella fucking funny shit, but I don't think she thinks she's being funny. Emily actually like tries to be funny.
No.
I think when it comes to, like your mom and Lauren, like they just do shit that's like I don't think they think it's funny. You know what I mean? Especially Lauren, bro. She'd be like doing some shit. I'm like, you're a comedian, dog. But like in her eyes, she probably doesn't see it as she's being a comedian,
Yeah.
But yeah. Episode 40, guys. Till next time.
Yep. Peace.